Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now that it is officially fall, I thought I would film a video on some of my current favorites that I think are going to be great options for fall. I've loved a few of these products for a long time. Some of them are new additions to my collection, but I think they're all going to work really well for the fall season. Whether you like to switch up your makeup seasonally or you're just looking for some good staple products that are worth the money, I thought I would share these products with you and share my recommendations. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I did apply all of the products on camera, so you can see how they actually work and apply, so I hope that's helpful. So today's video is sponsored by Nordstrom. You can actually purchase all of the products that I mentioned in today's video at Nordstrom. I will link them in the description box below in case you guys want to shop online, but of course you can go into your local Nordstrom and shop there as well. I was excited to use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation because this is kind of what inspired the video. I've been looking for a good foundation for fall that's not too heavy, that goes on really beautifully, that's comfortable but gives good coverage, and you would not believe how hard it is to find a foundation that meets all of those requirements. So I was excited to try this one out and I've been using it, and I thought I would share it with you guys in today's video along with some of my other fall beauty essentials. So Nordstrom has some different fall trend events happening all month long. I'm going to put a list in the description box below because if you guys are planning on purchasing any beauty products, I would recommend checking the list first and waiting for one of the events so you can save some money and stock up on some favorites. The one that I wanted to highlight for you guys for sure was on November 3rd. They're having a Mascara Madness event where if you buy 2 mascaras, you get one free, which is such a good deal. So if you've been wanting to stock up on some of your favorites, that is going to be the day to do it, November 3rd. But all season, they're doing like a fall beauty trend week at all of the Nordstrom stores. So if you go onto their website and check your local Nordstrom store, it will share the dates. And some of the stores are even having like a live runway show where they show off some of the trends, and they do like a complimentary consultation and free samples. And I thought it would be so much fun to like grab friends and go and make a night of it and like go to dinner and hang out. So that might be something worth putting on your calendar if you guys are interested. But again, I'll list all of the events in the description box below. Let's jump into it. I'll share my favorites and show you guys how they apply. Okay, I'm going to kick it off with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is one of my favorites because it is very hydrating. So it's going to be a great option for the fall because it does prep your skin for foundation or makeup application, but it kind of works like a primer and moisturizer all in one. So it does keep your skin hydrated throughout the day. Next, I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation, and this is going to be my go-to foundation for fall. I've been testing it out and I wear the shade 3.5. I did lose whatever tan I had going on during the summertime, so this shade actually matches me perfectly. I think it's going to be a great shade match during the fall and the winter. If you aren't sure what shade to get, I would recommend going into Nordstrom and either picking up a sample or chatting with the beauty stylist at the Charlotte Tilbury counter, and they'll be able to shade match you. You just need a little bit. This is a really beautiful mousse-like formula, and I have been on the hunt for a full coverage foundation that's not super heavy on the skin. I've really gotten away from those super matte full coverage foundations that tend to settle into fine lines, and they look a little bit heavy and cakey on the skin, but at the same time, I still want my foundation to give me good coverage. So I love this one because it does blend so easily, and it gives you that beautiful natural glow. Even though I have oily skin, I've been all about like a glowy look lately because I just, like I said, I'm over those mattifying, thick, heavy foundations. This one is going to be great for you if you have a lot of fine lines, a lot of texture to your skin, because it glides over all texture, all dryness, and it looks really, really beautiful on the skin. So I enjoy this one, and I think I will love it all fall because it is more of a hydrating product, but it still gives me nice coverage and it lasts really well throughout the day. So this is what it looks like after one layer. As you guys can tell, it is really beautiful. It's very glowy looking, but it's not oily looking or greasy looking. And it does cover up redness, which is like my #1 requirement for a foundation, but it does allow my freckles to show through. And a lot of you guys have been telling me to embrace my freckles, but I've been having a hard time finding a foundation that covers redness, but not freckles. And this one does a good job. You can go in with a little bit more and layer it on areas where you might want a little extra coverage. Like my skin has been breaking out a little bit, so sometimes I'll just go in with a little more and then just lightly apply that. It layers really beautifully without getting cakey or heavy. It just feels really good and looks really beautiful on the skin. So if you're looking for a nice, comfortable foundation for fall that's glowy, that looks really great on the skin, that kind of looks like your natural skin but better, then I do recommend the Magic Foundation. I think it's a great option. I am going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I went down a shade or two. I wear the shade Snow, which is lighter than the one that I was using. I believe I was using Almond, which is a little bit more yellow tone. But now that I did lose my tan, which I'm very sad about, I'm back to like all of my lighter shades. This concealer is a great option for fall because it does have really nice coverage. So if you like a full coverage concealer, you will enjoy this one, but it has more of a natural satin finish, which looks really beautiful under the eyes because it just works to blur any fine lines, any under eye wrinkles, and a lot of times full coverage concealers that are matte just kind of enhance those wrinkles and those fine lines. So I really enjoy this one if I want a full coverage concealer. It also blends out really beautifully and really easily and stays in place well throughout the day. Okay, so I did pick up the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in the shade 1 Fair. I have heard never-ending good things about this product, so I wanted to try it out myself because I've definitely been on a powder kick lately. I always use powder because I do have oily skin, so I always have to set my foundation no matter what. It is a very, very beautiful, finely milled, lightweight powder, so it goes on the skin so beautifully. It doesn't look like a heavy, cakey, mattifying powder. And again, lately I've been going a little bit more lightweight with powders. I don't like that super, super matte look. It just doesn't look natural on the skin. And this one actually sets your foundation into place really well. I love using it in my T-zone and under my eyes because it does give you that naturally beautiful airbrushed look. A lot of times lightweight powders don't feel like they're doing anything, so I always opt for something a little bit more full coverage. But as you guys will know if you've watched my previous videos, I'm kind of over like powder foundations and really full coverage powders, and this one is so beautiful. I think it's going to be a great option for you if you don't typically like heavier powders, or if you just want something really lightweight and comfortable for the fall and winter seasons, really all year round. But it does make my skin look airbrushed and really smooth. And lately I've just been mainly setting my T-zone and then lightly dusting powder over the rest of my face because I don't like that super, super powdery look. So this one is going to be a great option if you like to set your face, but you don't like an overly powdery look. Okay, I'm going to do my brows off camera because I have to really concentrate because I do struggle a little bit when it comes to brows. I've just been using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown. I think it's the best option for me right now because it does match my hair pretty well. Okay, let's move on to eyes. I am going to use the Urban Decay Born to Run eyeshadow palette. I've been talking about this on my channel nonstop, but I definitely think it's a fall essential because it does come with a lot of great colors. So you get warm tones and cool tones, but you also get a mix of colorful shadows, neutral shadows. It just has everything you need for pretty much any look, and whenever I go out of town, this is basically the only eyeshadow palette that I bring with me because it is a great option for traveling. Now, if you have colors like this in your collection, you might not necessarily need it, but I do think it's a great staple all-in-one palette. It kind of covers all of your bases, and you don't necessarily need a bunch of other palettes if you have this one in your collection. I don't think I've used it on camera, so I thought I would use it today. So I'm going to start with Breakaway and Weekender. I'm actually going to mix those two colors together and just place that all over my lid to like kind of have like a nice base shade. Breakaway has like a very slight sheen to it, and Weekender's a little bit dark, so mixing them together is like my perfect base shade. And I just apply that from like my lash line all the way up to my brow bone. I think I'm going to do something a little smoky because I think that's kind of fun for fall. So I'm going to take the shade Riff and just kind of blend that as a transition color. Nothing too crazy. I do wish there was a little bit of like a cooler toned transition color in this palette, but we will make it work. The matte shadows in this palette blend out really easily. It's just blending effortlessly, which is always a plus when it comes to matte shadows. There are two dark brown shades, Punk and then also Good as Gone. I'm going to use Good as Gone because that one is slightly more cooler toned and it's not as intense. It does have a very slight shimmer in it. It's nothing, oh, I got a little bit too much. It's nothing too crazy, like you can't really tell on the eyes. It just looks really pretty. So I'm just going to blend that in the outer corner and into the crease. And again, keep it a little bit lighter. I always say that and then I get out of hand with my eyeshadows and I end up with like an intense smoky eye that goes like all the way up to my brow bone, but I do want to keep this a little bit more toned down. So I'm going to move on before I make it too dark and smoky. I'm going to take the shade Drift, which is one of my favorite shades in the entire palette. It's a really pretty like charcoal gray, but I think it looks really pretty if you do like a cooler toned brown in the crease. And I'm just going to take this on my ring finger and pack it onto the lid. I can't really say that I was ever really into gray eyeshadow, but this color I think is so much fun. It's so pretty. It's different than like a cooler toned brown, and it just adds like that smokiness to the eye that I love. And then I'm just going to take a brush and apply that a little bit bit more precisely in the inner corner where it's a little bit difficult to reach with your finger. And then I'm just going to go in with that brown crease shade and make sure everything is blended really well together. Usually I make my crease shadow pretty intense and defined, but I just like this to kind of look like it fades to almost nothing from the lid to the brow bone, so I'm not really focusing on a super dark crease. I just want everything to look really blended and seamless. Okay, I'm going to apply some eyeliner again off camera because I always struggle with winged liner. I have to get like 2 inches from the mirror, and then I will finish up the eyes when I come back. Okay, so moving on to the lower lash line, I'm going to start with the shade Riff and run that on my lower lash line, and then just use a little bit of the shade Good As Gone to make it slightly more dramatic. But again, I'm going to try to keep this eye look from getting too out of hand because I do have a tendency to be pretty heavy-handed with eyeshadow, and I don't want it to be too intense. I just want it to be more of like a natural smoky eye. I was going to say like daytime, but honestly during the daytime I will wear like a purple smoky eye, a blue smoky eye, just something a little bit more subtle, not anything too intense. So I went to bed last night at 3 a.m., which was not ideal. I've been trying to be better about going to sleep earlier, but I just got caught up in editing and I'm trying to get ahead because we are going out of town this weekend. But my eyes, when I don't get a lot of sleep, tend to look red, obviously because I'm tired. So anyways, putting a nude in the waterline makes a big difference. It just makes the whites of your eyes look brighter, it helps you look more awake, and it just opens up your eyes. So instead of applying like a dark smoky color in the waterline, I love using a nude. And you guys, the Charlotte Tilbury Rockin' Kohl Iconic Liquid Eye Pencil is amazing. Now, I didn't know that there was a whole lot of difference between nude eyeliners until I tried this one, and I don't think I'll be able to use another one after this. If you guys have never tried a nude liner, try this one because I pretty much guarantee you won't be able to use another nude liner after you use this one. I just love it, and I've used it every single day since I've gotten it. I'm just going to finish up with the shade Breakaway and apply that in the inner corner and then also under the brow bone. This is a really pretty, just like light satin color. It's nothing too intense, so it doesn't look like a stark highlight. It just looks like a nice bright touch. That is it for the eyeshadow. I'm just going to apply mascara. My go-to mascara has been the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. This one is my favorite. I'm actually going to stock up on it during the Nordstrom buy two get one free event because I don't typically stock up on mascaras because I do like to try different ones. This one is amazing. It makes my lashes look so long. It separates them really well. I'll show you guys a close-up of me using it on the bottom lashes because in general, I have a hard time finding good mascaras for the bottom lashes that really grab onto each individual lash and make them look long and defined because a lot of times they smudge on the lower lash line and it makes it look like I applied like a harsh black liner, which is one of my pet peeves, but this one does not do that. So I wanted to try out a couple of Charlotte Tilbury Chic products. So I did grab the Filmstar Bronze and Glow. This one is a sculpting and highlighting palette. I do have the lighter version, but there is a darker version available as well if you have a darker skin tone than me. And this is so luxurious feeling. I love the packaging. It's absolutely beautiful. You can go in with a light hand for something more subtle, or you can build it up if you want a pretty intense contour. I usually go in with more of a precise brush and apply the product and then just go in with like a fluffier brush to blend it out for more of a diffused look. Then I just use my powder brush and blend it out because I don't want anything too intense or too harsh. And I've watched some videos and I think it pulls a little bit more red toned on my skin tone. So if you have a similar skin tone to me, that might be the case for you as well. I've seen other videos where it looks very cool toned. So obviously it just kind of depends on your skin tone and your color preferences. And then I did grab the Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop blush in the shade Ecstasy. I love like the name like Swish and Pop. I've watched a couple of videos on this product as well because people always talk about these. So I decided to grab one because they are very naturally beautiful. I love a good glowy blush, a really natural looking blush. And these are great because they're kind of like 3-in-1 blushes. I know that the like swish and pop technique is to take the shade on the outside and sweep it all over your cheek and then the center shade and pop it on the apples. So obviously you can do that, but you can also just take the outer shade. You can just take the inner shade. You can mix it all together. So it's just kind of a fun multitasking product to have in your collection. And if you do not want to buy multiple blushes, these are going to be a great option because you can get so much use out of just the one blush. So I'm just going to take the lightest shade and lightly apply it all over my cheeks for like the sweeping technique or the swishing technique. I'm so pale right now, so I'm used to going in with like a little bit of a heavier hand. And then I'm just going to take the darker shade, like a very, very small amount, and focus that right on the apples of my cheeks. I always talk about naturally glowy blushes on my channel, but a lot of them are very, very shimmery. And I know not everybody is into shimmery blushes, so if that's the case for you, this one's going to be a great option because it does look like naturally luminous, but it is so subtle that it doesn't look like you have shimmer on your face. I'm just going to take the highlight shade from the Filmstar Bronze and Glow and apply this. You can apply this very lightly for a very subtle highlight, which is nice. Like that's pretty subtle, or you can build it up for more of an intense look. I don't know. I haven't been super into intense highlights lately, so I'm just going to go for more of a subtle look today. And then to finish off the look, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Reshape and Resize Lip Liner in the shade Iconic Nude. I was trying to decide between Iconic Nude and Pillow Talk, but I decided to go with Iconic Nude, and I am so glad that I did. This is the best lip liner that I've ever tried. Again, I've seen so many reviews on these products, but I wasn't sure which ones to grab and which ones to try. Yet I'm so glad that I decided to grab this one because it's beautiful. It just looks so gorgeous on the lips. You can use it on its own, but there's something about this formula that looks really natural. So even if you kind of cheat and overdraw your lips, it doesn't look like you did. It just goes on really nicely. It's creamy, but it's not overly creamy, so it's not going to slip all over the place, and it just hugs your lips, and whatever you put on top stays in place really well. So I actually just like using it on its own because it's kind of like a Your Lips But Better color. It's just a lot better than my lip color, and I love it so much. If you guys like nude lip liners or you wear a lot of nude lipsticks, this one's going to be a great option for you. And if you take the time to like contour your lips, which isn't something that I do very often, then again, this is going to be a great option because it's going to look really natural. And then I'm going to take the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine Lip Gloss in the shade 1993. I love these lip glosses so much. They're just beautiful, they're soft, they're not sticky, and they give you a hint of color without being anything too overly pigmented. So I think they're great if you apply a lip liner underneath because they will stay in place a little bit longer and they just add a hint of color and shine without being too heavy on the lips. 1993 is one of my favorites for fall because it is a little bit of that cooler toned dark brown. And of course you can wear it over a lipstick if you want the color to show even more, but I just like wearing it over a lip liner. So that is my final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely recommend checking out these products. I will link them in the description box below. You can purchase them at Nordstrom or head into a Nordstrom store, especially if you want to get color matched for a foundation or any other product. But I really enjoy these products. I think they are great staples to add to your fall makeup routine if you just want to refresh it or you want some reliable products that are just fun to use as the season changes. But I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to watch my video. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.